everyone, thanks for having me. I'm Mark, I'm from RMIT University. RMIT stands for Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology. RMIT stands on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations, and I would like to respectfully acknowledge elders past, present and future. Okay, so virtually EnGenius. This is going to be a bit of a little bit of a technical dive into the capabilities of PebblePad, but it will hopefully will show how our students have been able to engage with industry in some engineering projects. So, virtual EnGenius. This is the online version of the showcase of RMIT Engineering School undergraduate students' final year capstone projects. And this gives the students the opportunity to demonstrate their ideas, develop work-ready skills, and receive feedback from industry. Now, the event has traditionally been run face-to-face. The School of Engineering hired out the Melbourne Exhibition Centre, and they had an event for the day with students set up in booths presenting their final year engineering projects. With the COVID issue that we heard about this morning, that event was cancelled for a couple of years running. But the engineering schools still wanted to run an industry event. We were looking for solutions to put that event online. In 2020, the event was trialled with a mixture of Flipgrid and Google Docs. It didn't really work so well. It wasn't a secure platform. There were privacy issues with that as well. So for 2021, the idea was revised. And at that time, we were running a pilot of PebblePad at RMIT. So we decided to trial that as part of the solution. And as we all know, PebblePad can do pretty much anything, so it was really a good platform. So our stakeholders, we had an events team who would normally run the face-to-face event. In this instance, they were the conduit between the RMIT academic team and the industry judges who we would bring on board to assess the student projects. We had academic supervisors involved. I have to recognise Professor Majid Nazim, who was the coordinator of this event, and he managed the students and all the timings of everything that we were going to see further on. We had industry judges, the School of Engineering as a whole, and of course the students were major stakeholders in the event. And a point to make is that we've continued that event in post-COVID times, so we found PebblePad is a really good platform for students to present their engineering projects, and it enables them to have conversations with their industry judges, and we'll see that coming up. So this is the original event. You can see that it was laid out in the Melbourne Exhibition Centre. The students all had a booth, and the industry judges would walk around the room, speak to the students, and the students would present their final year projects to the industry judges. So we had about 1,100 students, 150 plus academic supervisors, so that's RMIT staff involved in this project, and 150 industry judges. So the components of the project were a student presentation, an academic assessment of the original student presentations, then industry judging. In this case, we had face-to-face interaction and a celebration ceremony at the end. In the years of COVID, we couldn't have that celebration ceremony, but that's been brought back in on board. So the virtual EnGenius turns that face-to-face event into an online event. We still have the student presentation mode. In this case, it's a presentation video that the students have made as a group. I have to say this is a group project, by the way. Groups can range from 2 to 6 or 7 students. Some students did do their project on their own though, so there was that component as well. The academic assessment would occur inside of PebblePad. The industry judging occurred inside of PebblePad as well, so we were adding our industry judges as externals into the system and making the student projects available to them for assessment. So we hosted 300 videos inside of the platform. The positives were that the students were able to submit quite easily into a template that we provided. We created a public website at the end of the event, so that was available for anyone to see. RMIT University have used that as a bit of a promotional tool for secondary schools and the like, recruiting new students into engineering. This enabled interaction with industry, and it was the main judging platform. So this is the template that we used. You can see it's fairly standard. There's a section for the student ID, the project ID and title, the group members, a project summary. The students can upload their video presentation into this block here, and they were also asked to post a presentation in PDF form. There's a little field for a hyperlink there, so we were asking the students to share their template. So in order to make this work, we had to allocate a student group leader. The student group leader needed to pick up this template, share it with other members of their team, so they were all co-authors. And this had the benefit of all students having access to the template, but it also allowed each student to receive the feedback from industry and to respond as well, rather than just the group leader uploading their template and that being the only person who had access. They all had access to everything equally. As I mentioned, we have the share with the web link for the final showcase. In order to make this work properly, I was able to extract reports from these templates as well and put them into the final portfolio presentation. So once the students had uploaded their projects into the template, they were assessed academically, and then the top 5 projects from each engineering discipline were determined, and they were moved to another workspace. So this is getting a bit technical, but this is how you manage this kind of thing. And once that was done, the industry judges were added to the workspace as well, and then added to a discipline group that they nominated. So the judges rated 5 projects on a numerical scale against some criteria, which we'll see in a minute. And then a report was run on those feedback templates, and we were able to determine the winners of each category. Now, the thing with Virtual EnGenius is that students had really not seen PebblePad before, so that was a major hurdle for getting this to work properly. So really, we needed to create explicit instructions for them to successfully complete this activity. You can see this is a portfolio, but I tried to make it as easy as possible by including the 3 steps to sharing section here. So students need to share for assessment, for collaboration with each other and with the web, and there are comprehensive instructions in there for the students to manage doing that. Inside of this portfolio as well was a link to the template that they needed to pick up. So we couldn't provide it to them via Atlas, otherwise everybody would have received it. So we got the group leader to pick it up and then share it with everyone else. And of course we needed to provide instructions for the academic supervisors as well, who of course had never seen PebblePad either, and the industry judges as externals, and they were new to the platform also. So a lot of preparation involved before we pulled the trigger on the start of this thing. But I think that preparation is the key to making that a successful event in the end. This is the feedback template we used for the industry judging. The industry judges would complete this section here, so they'd rate the students numerically against these types of criteria. The industry judges couldn't see each other's responses, so we made sure that it was a clean view of everything, and that was we can do that inside of Atlas. We didn't release the scores to students because we were still going to run a report and determine the average of all of those results. And this is what it looks like in Atlas. You can see that this particular student project has received 5 reviews from industry. They've all done their own assessment form, and they couldn't see each other's assessment form, so that looked like there was just one there for them. Okay, so this is the key to making it work really well for the students and for industry. This is where the students were able to have feedback conversations with their industry judges. So you can see here, here's one of the templates that were submitted. The assessor has left a comment up in the feedback sidebar here, and the student has been able to respond to the comment and answer any questions that have been asked. And this is just a portion of what was there, but there are several conversations running along inside this feedback sidebar, and not just from the same assessor, but from different assessors as well. And I think that's really the key to making this work, because PebblePad provided with that formative feedback for each of those students, or each of those student groups. And as I said, every student in that group could see that feedback, and any one of them could have responded to that. Here's a couple more examples of that industry feedback that made this event really beneficial, made it a two-way conversation, possibly improved on the face-to-face experience because it was asynchronous. The industry judges could leave more considered responses and think about their questions a bit longer, and the students likewise could have a more of a considered response to what they've been asked, or whatever the comment was. And here's another one here. So there's a few responses here, a few comments. And this was a timeline. The virtual EnGenius was very time sensitive. We had to start and finish things at exactly the right time to make it work properly. So we had to get obviously the preparation material first before the students could submit. We had a window of time for the academic marking, and there was a cut-off for that. Then the potential prize winners were determined and put into the industry judging workspace. The industry judges needed to be uploaded into that workspace and then put into sets, like within minutes of each other. I had to put the industry judges in and then drop another CSV into there to make sure they went into the right sets, so they could only see the work that they were meant to be seeing and not everything in that workspace. The industry judging commenced for probably 4 or 5 days. They had a good window of time to do that, which was good for them. They didn't have to be in a certain place at a certain time. They could take their time and review the student submissions. The prize winners were determined. We have an award ceremony again, and that takes place one evening very soon after the prize winners are determined, so those results have to come out very quickly. The award ceremony is held, and the portfolio needs to come out pretty much straight away after that as well. So there's a lot of work in the background, a lot of timing that needs to be adhered to. Industry enjoyed the experience of virtual EnGenius, as you can see here. Got a couple of positive responses from industry. Students, I think, enjoyed it. Majid Nazim, who I mentioned earlier, said something along the lines of "no news is good news." So The students did not complain about the process, so I think that's a good indicator anyway, because I think that's how students tend to express their displeasure. They will complain. Here's a bit of a rundown of the administration tasks that were involved in this. Obviously, we've talked about the instructions. Managed student extensions. There were hundreds of student extensions requested. That's not an easy thing to do inside of PebblePad because you have to do them one at a time. And you can't just do an extension for one student, you have to do it for the entire group. So that's multiples of students. So that was a bit of a tricky one. We had students who opted out of being judged and having their work displayed publicly. So we had a form for the students to opt out, and after which I moved them into a private workspace. They wouldn't be judged, or their work wouldn't be made public due to reasons of intellectual property or privacy or anything like that. Running reports to determine the judging outcome. I added all the students to discipline-based sets. Extracting the reports from the student templates so that we could build the showcase portfolio. So there's a lot of things going on there. Here's a QR code to the portfolio if anyone's interested in looking at that. Hopefully that one works. We've had some issues with QR codes today. I think I've mentioned all of that on that side there. So this is what the portfolio looks like. You can see that it's separated into engineering disciplines. We have an industry awards section there, so those are the winners of the event, and all of the other projects that were made available publicly. And that's a difficult thing because we have to rely on the students to do a lot of the work, and the students who haven't been in PebblePad before, it's all a bit foreign to them. Sharing is a difficult concept for some people when they haven't seen it before. So getting all the students to share their work publicly, I think was a great achievement, and it really led to the success of this final portfolio. So yeah, the considerations, many moving parts as I've described. I think the learning design is of utmost importance because it really helps scaffold the experience for the students and for all the stakeholders as well. You need accurate data, so a lot of the data that I was using was on a master spreadsheet. It was not finalised all of the time. Some of the data was changing, so sometimes I had to go back and change a few things, change student groups and that kind of thing. But as I said, the timing is critical to ensure all of the event pieces fall into place. And these are all the time-sensitive parts of the event here at the end. And that's it. Thank you, everyone. Do you have any questions?